Okay, Kenny Reed, right after the import race here in Miami, and boy, it didn't look good for you at the start, bud.
Terrible start. Helmsman was pretty brain dead on the starting line today. First to admit that. Moose did a nice job. We both wanted the same spot, and he got it. So, little pinball in the first beat, and as soon as you have to tack twice in this class on a beat, you're done.
What do you lose? I mean, this seems like you must lose 2 or 3 boat lengths in attack.
Just about. Yeah. Especially, well, you lose much more with the big jibs, as you saw at the end when we have the big rollers. Yeah, the boats are not made to maneuver. They're made to haul ass in a straight line, and yeah, you saw that, which is why you get an accordion. You get big leads and then back in again. All of a sudden, somebody just makes a little bit of a mistake, and you literally stop dead in that stuff and allows the rest of the group to come flying in.
Yeah. And then you sort of held position, and then right at the end, and most of our readers obviously watched it already, but right at the end, you went out to the right there, then he came trucking in and killed him and rolled right. Well, you went right under Camper to the finish. I mean, was that the plan, or did you have to go because Groupama was giving you gas?
Yeah, it was. It was our only. As soon as Groupama came across and tacked on top of us, we thought we could get through them. But Abu Dhabi was the death nail right there. They tacked right on our breeze. So as soon as that happened, said, Kelby, our only chance is to go twice. He goes, let's go, and rolled into attack. I was surprised. I think Camper, you're sitting in the Camper camp right now, you would say as soon as we started to turn, they should have started to turn. Then it would have been, I think they might have had us. But yeah, we'll take it. Anytime somebody wants to make a little mistake and give us a hair of a break, we'll take it.
Well, interestingly, what really hurt them is something that you and I have been talking about all week, which is there haven't been a lot of people. There's all these boats out there. I mean, there was a good crowd. It was 200-odd boats out there, and it was them tacking in the chop is what destroyed them so badly. That chop right at the top mark was brutal, and they just stopped, and they never even started going again. Yep. You know, but what do you think about the turnout now?
I'm very, very impressed with South Florida and North America today. It's been 2 weeks coming. You and I have been quite vocal about this, that North America needs to start stepping it up when premier events like this come to town. And all the boats out there, and you know, you saw the response we got on the dock, and you know, you're signing tons of autographs and having your photo taken with every pretty girl in South Florida. I can think of worse things to do, you know?
I'll tell you, as much as Newport would have been a great one, the girls don't look exactly like that up there.
No, don't sit. No, the girls in Newport look just fine.
I'm going to Newport in a couple of days. I know I'm going to get slapped a couple of times already. Yeah. But let's talk about that for a second. Obviously, a new class likely, the next race likely, whether you're in or out, I wouldn't ask you now ever because it won't be a good answer. But what do you think about coming to Newport? I mean, could we get a crowd in Newport like we see in Europe? Could we get, 100,000, 200,000 people in Newport? Because we'll have 50 or 70 here like we had in Boston, like we had in Baltimore. Do you think we can get into the real numbers that really kind of help build the momentum for the sport anywhere in America?
That's a good question. I would hope. I'm a homer, obviously. Newport's my home, and my brother Brad is doing such a great thing with the America's Cup World Series. It's going to be here at the end of June in Sail Newport and the state of Rhode Island. You know, losing the America's Cup for the state of Rhode Island was still a great wake-up call for all the principal politicians, and all of a sudden they're all for it in a big way. I mean, I went down and met with Brad. I was home for a couple of days last week, and Senator Whitehouse and Brad and myself are walking around Fort Adams checking out all the changes to Fort Adams being made. So I think if the political environment starts to embrace the sport more, then that means the Providence Journal, all the local television stations start embracing it more. And yeah, it has to be good, because it's not. See, these stopovers are not just about sailing. These are traveling circuses. You know, you're in a 3D dome over there, and kids jumping in these crazy balls over here, and little kids running around doing all kinds of weird stuff. And this is a family activity. This is not simply come check out a boat race. And I think that's where Miami may have just lost it a little bit. I think they struggled a little bit finding funding, to be honest, and then when you get behind the eight ball there, it's hard to ever get the momentum back.
I mean, do you feel that the politicians, at least in your home state, understand that it's not just that there's actually tax base comes in, you get international exposure, you get all these things that everyone wants?
Well, they are now. It's been years since we've been trying, and quite frankly, I hate to give him any credit whatsoever, but my little brother is probably the biggest reason that has happened.
No, I'll give a shout out to Brad and to Sail Newport. Check out sailnewport.org. let's just shift gears. We had a little talk about this the other day. What do you think about the potential for a one design Volvo boat?
Yeah. You know, I'm invested in this, like it or not. I've been doing this now for, you know, you go back to that last few legs on Ericsson I did, you know, that was two Volvos ago, and then, of course, through the last Volvo and this one. I love these boats. I think we've come up with a bunch of concrete ways to lower the budgets and still use these boats. I think these boats are part of the DNA of this event. And you know, I'm not talking out of school. I've said the same thing to Canute. I don't.
What kind of changes?
I don't like the idea of one design at all. I think it becomes I think it becomes just another event. I like the individuality with these boats. There's a whole bunch of systems and things that you could mass produce, and that would help simplify the designs. First of all, I mean, we built our boat for millions less than the boats were built in Europe. So we think we did it correctly. You know, Kimo and Tim Hackett did an unbelievable job putting the boat together and putting it in on budget. You know, and along with Tommy Rich out at New England Boat Works. So we think there's a bunch of ways, there's a bunch of systems within the boats, whether it's masts, whether it's keel systems, whether it's dagger boards, rudders, all these things. Designers can spend heaps of time trying to reinvent the wheel and making it that much better.
Without much gain. Some gain, but without much gain.
So keep the hulls open, and how the rigs are set up and everything else, and how the rakes and everything else are set up. Of course, the sails are a huge part of what we do. Keep that stuff open, keep it fun, and I think the core sailing fan is really attracted to that. I know the America's Cup and the Volvo Ocean Race, they're trying to expand outside the core sailing fan, but you can't lose the core sailing fan. You can try to bring more people into our sport, but you can't do it by shaking off the people, your readers, the people who are just rabid about this sport as we are. So I think they care about the individuality of these boats, the trickle down of all the systems that come out of these things. They're unbelievable boats. And if we just go with a one design, it just doesn't feel the same to me. And like I said, we use the word DNA. I think these boats are part of the DNA. Let's work to effectively lower the budgets using these boats, and I think we can do that.
Good answer. I love it. Let me ask you one final one. I'll let you go. You said Brad's working on the Youth America's Cup, which is a great announcement. Red Bull, obviously. You have now, and I don't think anyone has a question in the world about this, you have now become America's premier sailor. You've become the guy that, you know, they used to say Dennis Conner, and everyone know who you're talking about. Now, anyone under 25 has no idea who that is anymore. Okay, it's true. And now though they know who Kenny Reed is, and you've done it in part because you've got amazing personality on camera. You've matured unbelievably since your brazen youth days. Amory's done a great. I'm telling you, it's true. And I would criticize if there was a reason to. But your personality has come through in brilliant ways, and I think you've done a lot for really getting people going. But now you sort of become the spokesman. So are we going to see involved in that? Are we going to see involved in something else for the benefit of the sport to try and improve everything? Or what?
My theory right now is this is my 15 minutes. You know. And you can either just kind of crawl in your hole and become focused, really myopic about what you're trying to do, or you can try to do some good at the same time. And quite frankly, our race today, probably part of why it's had such a lousy start is because we've run ourselves pretty ragged here. But you don't get this chance very often. You know, you don't get a chance to talk to Fox Sports and to talk to all these network affiliates all around the North America and talk about your sport and show them what the sport actually is. This is not the elitist, bullshit sport that everybody thinks it is. There's a bunch of blue collar guys that are possibly the hardest working people in the world right now that are sailing these boats. So let's show that off. Let's show what this sport can do. So I appreciate what you say. That's very kind, but I'm just trying to use this 15 minutes while I have it, and nice job today. I'm trying to use this 15 minutes while I have it to help promote what we all love.
Do you think that the still quite exclusive yacht club control of the sport and access to water and sailing is at odds with trying to share that blue collar thing that Sailing Anarchy is certainly dedicated to. Do you think that's a problem, and is it something that can be overcome?
Of course, it's a problem, but I think yacht clubs themselves are starting to open up more. Trying to get more youth, trying to expand youth programs, and just back to again, giving them credit where credit's due. The Sail Newports and the Providence Community Boatings of the world. Providence Community Boating might be in absolutely the worst spot of Providence. Fox Point is not glamorous, but they're full. They got kids, they got adults, they got all kinds of. We need more of those community centers, and they need people like you and I to get involved with them, because without the access to the water, then the sport never grows. And, it kind of bugs me that I hear all these people, the sport's dying, the sport is not dying. You guys, you go around the world, this sport is exploding. The amount of people that were in Brazil, that were on the docks in Auckland, the fans, China, it was out of control. We need security to get to the stage because people are going nuts. This sport is not dying. But it doesn't mean in North America we can't give it a kick in the ass. And the best way to do it is community centers that allow access, and that access gets the non-wealthy the ability to go, check out this amazing sport. All
right, from Kenny Reed, folks, so support your community sailing centers. Try and start one. Talk to your local governments, right? Make it happen. That's the key. I love it, man. Hey, great job today. Good luck. Good luck. You got an interesting leg ahead, so have a great time, okay?
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate that, my brother.